Okay. Very briefly, we'll discuss resources. Resources can be a double-edged sword. I have criticised the Equality and Human Rights Commission in the UK for frankly having too much money, okay? Because there was this initial 2-year period where they had a comparatively large budget by European standards, where they started paying, frankly, some absolutely astronomical salaries and didn't necessarily get their value for money. So too much money can be a bad thing. You can see salary inflation actually in the UK in certain posts as a consequence of the money the Equality and Human Rights Commission has. However, there are all sorts of issues. I won't say any more. There are all sorts of issues, even in times of economic crisis, where you have slashing cuts kicking in particular institutions. And all sorts of issues with projects like decentralization and so on, which are not, when they affect independent bodies, which are not perhaps justified on as clear a basis as they should be. There is always a concern about the political penalty, that some institutions are being penalized for being difficult. That is a problem. Resources are necessary for Equality and Human Rights Commissions to do their job. They can be a double-edged sword. Resources are not the cure for everything. But nevertheless, it is necessary to think clearly about how much resources bodies need, how independent resource allocation is, who controls and monitors how they spend their funds. Finally, I know I've run over time. Apologies to our timekeeper. I want to emphasize the second point, okay? 3 hours after the news about the Gardaí Síochána not taking a Sikh turban, I had 3 emails from friends in New Delhi. 3 hours. And they were saying to me, I thought your country was nice. You seem to be going down the French route. Now, you see, it seems to me, leaving aside the rights and wrongs of that particular controversy, in a globalizing world where information moves quickly, where you've mixed populations, migration flows, it is no longer good enough for societies to sort of carry on in a fairly unreflective way. Okay? If you take a decision to exclude individuals wearing Sikh turbans in the ranks of the Gardaí Síochána, then that has to be an open, well-reasoned issue. And Equality and Human Rights Commissions are precisely the bodies which best play the role of forcing individuals and forcing government and forcing society at large to think seriously. Now, I'm out of time, so I'm not going to discuss the interesting issue about separate national human rights institutions or common national human rights institutions. All I'll say is they're evidence that both types can work. Everything depends upon the context. But these are some very final points I want to throw in. Okay? Effectiveness, national human rights institutions depend on institutional design, powers, functions, resources, accountability. Most importantly of all, intelligent leadership, commitment, a sense of what's achievable, and a clear focus on core issues. That's what's essential. I have to say, I think the Irish national human rights institutions have had some excellent leadership over the last 10 years. But what's crucial is the need to maintain this. I would not say the same about current leadership in the UK. Okay? Leadership is important, as is a focus on the core mission of Equality and Human Rights institutions. It's a different mission from civil society. What it involves, and I keep on making this point, I'll say it one more time, is that it's not the job of national human rights institutions to be polite and docile, another cog in the machine of governance. Their job and their added value to the taxpayer is to be difficult, provocative, and challenging, to ask the hard questions, to ensure enforcement with law, to take unpopular decisions. That's why we have national human rights institutions, and that's in many ways where the debate needs to be. How do we establish a framework that delivers on that mission statement? Thank you very much.